All right. Will our Wi-Fi hold up? Will our Wi-Fi hold up? I'm not asking Bobby's opinion on that because Bobby can't fix the Wi-Fi. Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Yeah, I can even see myself streaming on my phone. Let's share this with everyone. How cool is that? How cool is this, man? That we can do a live radio show and share it. It's cool. Coolio, as they say. Let's share this thing. Let's share this thing on what? Let's share it on Facebook. Let's do Facebook. Yeah, I'm ready to go. Here we are.
You're listening to the JT the Brick Show, where the Raider Nation has come to sound off and react for over 20 years.
It's the JT the Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Philly Cadillac Performance Studio. To sound off for over 25 years. And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT with you. Good to have you today as we open up the broadcast in Las Vegas, Nevada, the sports and entertainment capital of the world. That's pretty cool. When I moved here in 96, there were always stories about Elvis and Wayne Newton and Cher and Don Rickles and Frank Sinatra. Pretty entertaining place, very tiny at the time. And now we're the sports and entertainment capital of the world, and we have WrestleMania in town for 2 nights. No thanks. Not my thing, but I learned a long time ago, and I think Bobby had something to do with this. Don't ever talk down to wrestling fans, which I've never had. No problem if you like wrestling. No problem if you like bobbleheads. You like wrestling. You like other things. No problem. I'm not talking down about it. Not my thing. I like rock and roll. I'm going to AC/DC the end of the month, some live music, getting ready for the draft. I'll sit out WrestleMania, but if you're taking the kids, there are some people that take kids, Bobby. I mean, I support anything where you take kids. I'm the guy saying when the Thomas and Mack is 2/3 empty, why don't you take a kid in the neighborhood and let him sit in the second deck at the Thomas and Mack and watch a basketball game? But that offends people when I tell people to get off their ass and go to games, because I go to games. But I'll sit out WrestleMania. It'll be, and this is what I heard today, true story, it will be the biggest event in the history of Vegas. I said, what? Bigger than the Super Bowl? By a lot. Bigger than Garth Brooks at Allegiant Stadium? By a lot. WrestleMania, from what I heard today from a reliable source, will be the biggest event in the history of Vegas. Like Coachella, like having 2 days or 2 weekends at Coachella. WrestleMania is so big, they're doing 2 nights. 2 nights. Woohoo! There's a lot of people buying Cokes and beverages and shirts and all that there. So if you're going to WrestleMania, bring a kid. Me and my buddies don't go to WrestleMania without kids. Or if you're going with the wife or the girlfriend or the partner or the significant other and you're excited about that, have a really good time. Man, Mark Davis, build it and they will come. You build the Allegiant Stadium, you get WrestleMania. You don't build it, you get nothing. You have the Silver Bowl. You have the Silver Bowl out there in deep Henderson. How the hell did we get by without a football stadium in this town? And what were we doing before a football stadium in this town with all these big events? All right, let's jump into a couple things. The show started. You could start dialing. We'd like to get you on the radio. I only do 2 hours a day on this platform. I did 3 last night on during the Warrior game, and the Warriors ended up winning. We'll touch on that in a little bit. They almost lost. They need a lot of cooperation from the refs. I don't know how Draymond Green doesn't get a technical every time he just goes down the court. I've never seen a guy in my life yell at the referee so much and not get a technical. If I come back in a second life, I want to be an NBA referee. I would tee these bleeping guys up. I'd be throwing guys out of every NBA game if they looked at me. If they looked at me the wrong way, I'd throw them out of the game. I'm watching the last 2 minutes of the Warrior game. Everybody on the Warriors is screaming and yelling at the top of their lungs at the refs. Ball goes out of bounds. They're screaming at the refs. It wasn't off me. They block a shot. It's a foul. They scream at the refs. When did this happen in the NBA where you're allowed to yell at the referees in their face? I mean, it's incredible to me. The Warriors get away with murder with this. Draymond. So Steph hit a couple of threes late. John Morant rolled his ankle badly. Zach Edey can't catch a ball. If you threw him a beach ball to him, he couldn't catch it. So you don't have to worry about him scoring. And the Warriors now are the 7 seed, and they'll go up against Houston, the 2 seed, and they got to like that. Houston has no experience. They've never played in anything significant lately. The Warriors are going to get some time off and some rest. And I think the Warriors will have a really good chance to get out of the first round. Now, the problem with the NBA, there's some good and bad. And I said this last night. If you look at all 4 of the major sports, okay, let's go with hockey, the NHL, baseball, football, and basketball. Those are still our major sports. Soccer should be the biggest, but it's not in this country. NASCAR is a sport. I won't put it in the top 4, but you know where I'm going. UFC, boxing, outside the top 4. So if we look at the major 4 sports, hockey on opening night is unbelievable. Opening night, these guys are skating on the first shift like it's the last shift. You can get stitches in your face in the first game of the year and come back and play. Like hockey players can take a puck in the face 5 minutes into the season, get stitched up and come out and play. So the sport is beautiful. Effort's amazing. No load management. We go to baseball. Baseball, opening day is pretty big. Someone can throw a no-hitter. Someone can hit 3 home runs. And the games count, and opening day in baseball is really big. It's called opening day. Baseball takes the start of the season very seriously. Look at the Padres. Look at some of the teams there. Then we move on to the NFL. The NFL is amazing because they open the season on Thursday night with the Super Bowl champ playing against another great team. So the NFL opens the season week 1, and it's massive. Then we get to the NBA. The NBA sneaks into town like they broke the law. They open up the season. No one's in shape. No one's ready to play. The product is absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. And then they try to trick you. They give you this in-season tournament because they realize no one cares. And then on Christmas, they fake everybody out. On Christmas, they make it out like it's opening day. On Christmas, they used to have 2 games, and they had a triple header, quadruple header. Now they got 5 games, and they trick you into seeing that the opening of the season is Christmas Day, and it's not. But out of all the 4 sports I mentioned, the NBA is the best at flipping the switch when the playoffs come. Everybody plays their ass off. Everybody dives for every loose ball because all these guys in the NBA grew up watching Magic and Bird and Michael Jordan and Kobe, and they know that legacies are made in the playoffs. So if you can suffer through the regular season of the NBA and pay those prices where players aren't playing and load management and get through it, then the playoffs begin, and every night an NBA playoff game, I think, is fantastic. The other problem with the NBA is that a lot of fans have checked out. They checked out over politics and COVID years ago. I don't do that. I'm a sports talk host. I love sports. I don't check out on anything. Don't check out. But a lot of fans don't like the NBA anymore. More and more fans come up to me when I talk to them in general. I love talking to fans and finding out where their minds are at. And I always ask, what do you think of the NBA? And about 50% of the people I talk to, including close friends, say, I don't watch it. And I go, why? And then they give me some excuse why they don't like it. And I go, well, I'm not in that group. I love the NBA, but I love the NBA playoffs. So getting back to the Warriors last night, Steve Kerr talked about Jimmy Butler's impact. Remember, I'm not rooting for the Warriors because of Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler quit on Miami, got rewarded going to the Bay Area for no reason. He shouldn't have been. He should have been suspended for the year. I would have, if I was the owner of the Heat, I would have suspended him for a year with pay, said you're out. Not moving you, not doing anything. Jimmy Butler now plays for Steve Kerr, and Kerr's thrilled about it.
In these big moments, these big games, he just settles you down constantly. He just told me, I don't care who guards me, just give me space, give me the ball, I'll make something happen. And that's the beauty of Jimmy. We have morphed into a different team. We've got the movement and the flow of Steph, but we've also become, for half the game, a great ISO team. We've never been an ISO team here. There's great advantage to that. Jimmy has completely changed everything for us since he's been here, and tonight was a great example of that.
Let's stop and talk about that for a second if we can. I mean, it's a sports talk show. I got to connect everybody on every topic. Imagine if your team, you're a Raider fan, okay, your team, you're a hockey fan. Imagine if your team got a player because he was behaving poorly for another team and let another fan base down. And then he came to you. I think most fans don't care. They just want to win. Most Warrior fans want to win. It's amazing what happens in the city of San Francisco. I live there. When Barry Bonds was hitting home runs into the water, he was cheating. He was aggressively cheating. He was taking performance-enhancing drugs, no debate, the clear and the cream. And everybody at those games, when Bonds came to the plate and the ball went into the water, McCovey Cove, gave him a standing ovation, and they all knew he was cheating. They didn't care. They wanted to see home runs. They wanted to have an Anchor Steamer and Gilroy garlic fries and a Bonds home run, and they got it. And consciously, they knew Bonds was cheating. Consciously, they were aware that Barry Bonds was getting an advantage because he was jealous of McGwire and Sosa and the success that they had. So Bonds decided, with Victor Conte and Balco, decided to cheat aggressively. And he went from a guy who never would have hit 500 home runs, maybe 500, to passing Henry Aaron and his godfather, Willie Mays. He cheated. And people want to forget about it. No, I don't forget about things. I don't forget. I'm a sports fan. So it's the same thing with Jimmy Butler. What did Jimmy Butler do? He quit. Absolutely quit on Pat Riley. Pat Riley's in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. You know who else quit? Remember when Kyrie Irving quit on the Celtics? Oh, yeah. He played on the Celtics. He stepped on the leprechaun, quit. And he goes to Dallas, and everyone's like, I like Kyrie now. I don't forget he quit on the Celtics. So Jimmy Butler's now playing for the Warriors, and everybody's hugging him, patting him on the back, saying, we got Jimmy. It's nice to have. I'm a Knicks fan. I can't get Jimmy Butler or Durant or LeBron. But remember, this Warrior team this year is based on the poor behavior of Jimmy Butler quitting on the Miami Heat organization and forcing his way out in an entitled league to play for the team he wanted to play for, the Warriors. Okay. Now, remember, we got a lot of Warrior fans that listen to this show. They're Raider fans. I get it. You want your team to win, but I don't know why anybody else in the country would root for the Warriors. You got to root against teams that do stuff like this. You don't encourage people to do it. What happens next year if there's 6 Jimmy Butlers in the league instead of 1? And they all go, hey, I don't want to play for my team. I want to play for the Warriors or the Lakers. They'll be able to do it. It's called player entitlement. All right, so I just got off my soapbox with that. I actually think the Warriors are going to beat Houston. I do. I think Houston is a really good team. They're the 2 seed, but I just think the Warriors' experience is going to be a lot. All right, we want to dive into the NFL draft. We don't have a lot of time left, and you don't call me every day, right? Screaming they will come. So if you're going to call me in the next 4 shows, 3 or 4 shows, I need your pick. That's it. We're down to that. Bobby and I pre-show meeting. I'm like, what are we talking about today? I just said, keep it simple. I need your pick. I don't care about what you want to do in the 3rd, 4th round. That's John Spytek. I care about your first pick in the draft, and it's getting interesting now. I told you it'd get interesting. If you're watching on our YouTube channel for free, JT the Brick YT, I'll tell you this, looking into the camera, and you should all be here, it's getting tricky now for the Raiders. Not in a bad way. The Raiders control their pick at number 6. It's going to be a really good player. No doubt. Whoever they select, and we talk about at the Raiders draft party, there'll be a large, loud volume of cheers. There wasn't a lot for Brock Bowers last year. If you remember last year, if you were there at the Omnia Club and it was Brock Bowers and everybody was like, how would you describe that? There was like whispers of hushed tones, gasps. There was no one cheering when we drafted Brock Bowers. People were in shock. They were in shock because most people at the draft party are great people. They're there for cocktails and food and having fun. And they're not sitting there doing a deep dive on Brock Bowers, but Rich Gannon was. Once we got to the 10th pick and I'm looking at Rich Gannon and he's like, Bowers is still out there. I'm like, woo, you're right. I don't think Bowers is going to get to 13. He did. We're all thinking and vibing about what the Raiders are going to do with this first pick. I believe it'll be Ashton Genty. I'm not hoping and praying for it. I don't have inside information, but if everybody from Mel Kiper to every other single NFL mock guy's got Ashton Genty, I'm not going to die on the hill and tell you it's not going to be him. The reason why Ashton Genty makes sense at 6 is because he's a beast and he comes in NFL ready. We know that. And then the Raiders can control their football team on offense. They'll finally have a player since Josh Jacobs and Josh was pretty good. And it wasn't that long ago, but they'll have a guy on paper who's better than Josh Jacobs coming in. All due respect to Josh coming out of Alabama, first-round pick. He was not considered Ashton Genty. He was not. I was there for that. He wasn't. Great player. Genty can control the pace of the game, the clock, the first downs, time of possession, and the Raiders can win more. I like that. If the Raiders take Ted McMillan, a wide receiver, and he gets double-teamed, and he's a rookie, and he only catches 4 passes a game, oh, my God, what'd we do? Right? If Ted McMillan comes in at wide receiver and he catches 11 balls a game, and he's a rookie of the year candidate, great. Very risky move. Raiders would be smart to go offensive line early, but that's not sexy, and a lot of Raider fans don't want to do that. I am not a proponent of taking a defensive tackle or a defensive lineman because I think the Raiders' defensive line is their strength. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If you want Mason Graham or one of these other guys who can play tackle, I mean, Abdul Carter's different. If Abdul Carter was available, oh my God, I don't think he'll make it to 6. That's different. But I don't think the Raiders need to go out and get a elite defensive tackle. We got Christian Wilkins and Adam Butler. I mean, those guys are supposed to play every play in a rotation. We got Malcolm Kuntz and Tyree Wilson and Max Crosby. We got a pretty good defensive line, man. We brought in 2 new linebackers, including Devin White. I think they're okay, but we need to get young at the linebacker position. Walker out of Georgia would be a great fit. I just don't know. Will he be Ray Lewis or will he be Nicholas Morrow? I don't know. That's why you take a linebacker. He better hit. He better be Ray Lewis. He better be Lawrence Taylor. He better be Luke Kuechly. He better be good if you're going to take him in the top 6. And then it comes to the secondary, where Jack Jones has been released. The Raiders don't have great corners to begin with. Jacorian Bennett is a good prospect, a good young player, but he hasn't done much. He's flashed a little bit. Raiders need a corner. They need a corner. So can they trade back and get a corner? Now, I'm not a big trade back guy, never have been. Never been a guy trade back. It's not my thing. This year, it's interesting to me because I've been on this kick that the Raiders need to get 3 players in the first 2 rounds, not 2. Not a first and second round pick, but I think the Raiders need 2 first-round picks or a first and 2 seconds. You know, trade up, move up, do whatever you got to do to get back into the first round or move up in the second round or trade back in the first round to get that second-round pick. So I was asked to go on a podcast about that in New Orleans, which I'm going to go on. New Orleans now with Derek Carr, and I'll get to Derek in a little bit because we were off yesterday for baseball. If New Orleans, they got a problem with Derek Carr now because Derek, there's a lot of weird stuff going on with Derek. He is injured. They don't know the severity of his injury. Derek is flexing on a little social media in Cars, and the Saint fans are freaking out. And the Saints don't really like Carr. They don't. The Saints don't love Carr the way the Raider fans did. Remember, Raider fans loved Carr. He had some detractors, but Carr was a hell of a player for this organization. All-time leader in yards, touchdowns, and a lot of records. He was a very good player. Very good player. But now New Orleans might want to trade up from 9 to 6 to get Shedeur. Or the Raiders at 6 could take Shedeur if Tom Brady likes Shedeur that much. I talked to someone today off the record about that too. On the record because I'm mentioning it now. Look, if Shedeur's the face of the franchise and you love him, you take him. I don't believe that because I think Geno Smith deserves the right to be the quarterback of this team for a couple of years as the starter. If you take a quarterback at 6, I think eventually Geno gets traded and you got to move him in a year and he'll be a valuable trade piece, but you got to play the guy next year. If you draft Shedeur at 6, you got to play him. You got to play him. Definitely maybe year 1 or definitely year 2. So where do you go there? So I don't like that formula. And then the other big thing is what happens if Jacksonville at 5 takes Ashton Genty? Okay, if Jacksonville goes, we want Genty at 5 instead of Etienne, the running back they have there, and they take him, are the Raiders then really looking to move back because they know they can get a running back whenever they want in the second round or the third round, a really good one. So there's a lot of unique confusion going on right now. I watched John Spidek. He was on with Bucky Brooks and Rhett Lewis. We're going to have Rhett come on the show here, hopefully. And I think John Spidek is really good in front of the camera. And he's telling everybody, look, I've done this in Tampa Bay. Sometimes the player you want, you can't get. It's the second player you want. He went through a couple of examples of how he likes to be an impactful guy in the draft. I have a lot of confidence in the room. You know, the room is going to be the decision makers leading into the draft are Tom Brady and Pete Carroll, John Spytek, and Chip Kelly, and Patrick Graham. That's really strong, man. That's really strong. I don't know how you don't compare that to Jim Harbaugh. What the hell has Jim Harbaugh done compared to Pete Carroll? How many times do I got to sit here on the flagship station and hear that the Chargers have Jim Harbaugh? What the hell has Jim Harbaugh done compared to Pete Carroll? Pete Carroll's been to 2 Super Bowls, won a national championship. Harbaugh beat him once, memorable for Stanford. But most of the time, Pete Carroll had no problem with Jim Harbaugh. And then you look at Sean Payton. What is Pete Carroll concerned about with Sean Payton? Sean Payton's a good coach. He's not more decorated than Pete Carroll. No, he's not. So Pete Carroll's going to have this thing figured out, especially late in the draft when John Spytek tells Pete, hey, Pete, we're looking to take this safety or corner in the 4th round. The guy we've been telling you about, he's your style of player. Let's go take him. And they go take him. And then Pete Carroll goes, I can develop this guy quickly. But the monologue here today was basically me telling you that let's wake up with the draft, please. I had a nice little anniversary show on Monday. Appreciate the nice, kind words. It was great. We moved on from that. We were off yesterday for baseball. We're on today. I got my Our Lads guide in the mail today, kind of like the draft Bible. So I feel really good. I can sleep now. I have all my prep ready. We got a big week next week with the Raiders in the building for the draft. I'll tell you about that. So I'm excited about this draft pick because it's a high pick. And last year we all grinded together. All of us, all the season ticket holders, all the listeners to this show. We all went through a really tough year. It was hard. 10 losses in a row. Coach fired. GM fired. Quarterbacks benched. It was hard. We don't want another hard year. We want a great year. And as I've been saying from day one, the only way I think this could be great and we can shock the world is we have to nail the draft. We have to nail it. It has to be close to perfect. And that's okay. It's got to be close to perfect. And these guys are getting paid to be close to perfect. There can't be Tyree Wilson picks and Damon Arnett picks. Can't be that. You can't trade up for Michael Mayer and never throw the ball to Michael Mayer. You got to go get guys who are going to come in here and win now. They got to be really good players, ready to play, loving football, coming in here, hitting the ground, ready to go, and they have to be starters, not developmental guys. Developmental guys come later in the draft. We got high draft picks. The Raiders need to nail it. All right, that's the monologue brought to you by Golden Entertainment. They own PTs. They own the Strat. There's a lot going on at Strat, a lot of activations going on this weekend. Head on out to the tallest property in town, the Strat, proud partner of the show. Big Al in San Francisco, coming off the Warrior game last night, where that was a little too close for comfort, Big Al.
Yes, it was, and this has been 3 weeks of basically playoff basketball for Golden State, and they needed to get this win. One, to avoid playing Friday with their season online, and secondly, to get a little bit of rest. The last 2 games they played against the Clippers was an epic basketball game, one of the best regular season basketball games that I've seen in over 30 years, literally. I've been around the Warriors for 32 of them. And the last night was a tough game. I mean, Memphis, they deserve to win the game. Golden State deserved to win the game, but we don't play for ties in the NBA. Either you come in first or you come in second. And Jimmy Butler was amazing, and Steph in the fourth quarter was amazing. They need the rest. They're playing a very, very good Houston team, and the Warriors can't stay with Houston on the board, so they're going to have to find other ways to be able to get the competitive edge to beat Houston. Don't discount Houston because they're young. Young doesn't matter anymore. They're not rookies. They all have NBA experience. They won 50+ games. So this is going to be one hell of a basketball series, and I can't wait to sit down, strap on the seat, this game, watch these first 2 games before they come back, to California, because they're going to be a hell of basketball games.
Yeah, they have to win one of those 2. If they go down 0-2, I don't think the Warriors are good enough to win 4 out of 5. When you go down 0-2 on the road, you have to win 4 out of 5. And I don't think the Warriors can beat them 4 out of 5 as a 7-2 seed, Houston being a 2. So I think it's critical. The Warriors got to get a win in Houston.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're not. First off, nobody's sweeping in this series, and there's more of a chance it's going to go 6 or 7 than it's going to go 4 to 5. And if it's going to go 6 or 7, you know they have to come out of there with a split. The Warriors have a nice home court. It's not Oracle like it was in Oakland 5 years ago. But it's going to be one hell of a series. Let's enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy it. Thanks, Big Al. I really enjoyed the NBA playoffs. I'm a Knicks fan. The Knicks are in against Detroit. Bobby's a diehard Celtic fan. The Celtics in Cleveland eventually going to have a showdown. It's going to look good. NBA playoffs are a lot of fun. Again, for all the negativity that the NBA gets, I want to move forward on that and embrace the playoffs here. We got Laker fans that live here in Vegas and Warrior fans and just fans that love basketball. Big D in Walnut Creek. Walnut Creek, man. What's happening, brother?
Hey, good to talk to you, brother. I appreciate you getting me on here. I just thought I'd step in and give my 2 cents on the whole Raider first pick thing. I'm under the opinion of Ashton Jeanty. I think hands down he's better than any other back in the draft. And I know the draft is deep, a lot of backs, but to me, the best back in the draft is there for the taking. You take him. Otherwise, to me, it's settling for second best. I think the guy, he's low center of gravity. He's hard to tackle. Coming out of the backfield, he's hard to see. He had 1,700 yards after first contact, which is more yards than any other back had combined. Now, I'm really scared that Jacksonville might decide they want him, or the Bears or the Broncos might try to move up and snake him away from the Raiders. So if the Raiders really want him that bad, they should try to switch spots with Jacksonville. If they like where they stay, like where they are, trading back with the Saints is a good idea. They can still get that corner they're looking for, Will Johnson or Barron out of Texas.
Yeah.
So, but I think Jeanty's the guy. I think he comes in and he's going to take pressure off of Geno Smith. He's going to open up the passing lanes for receivers because the defense is going to have to play him on it. So that's what I got for you, brother.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it, man. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people that have opinions other than me. That's all I do here every day is I rip through a monologue for 25 minutes and hope people like it and react to it and have something to say. Jeanty seems like the safe pick. Jeanty, I had another guy tell me, well, what happens if Jeanty's not good after 3 or 4 years? Yeah, it's a fair point. If you want to go get a player, you want to get him to a second contract. A lot of running backs don't make it to the second contract. They get to year 4 and they're injured, they're banged up, they got a lot of tread off the tire. Maybe you franchise tag them. You normally don't want to do that. And then you let the player go. I don't want to do that. I want guys who come in the first round to be signed to multiple contracts. But we'll deal with that. I want to go into Legion Stadium the first game of the year with an explosive offense. With Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers, Trey Tucker, Geno Smith, and the addition of Ashton Jeanty, that's a good offense. That's really good. And they're going to get another receiver, and we know that. They're going to have depth on the offensive line. That'll be an offense that can compete with the Chargers and Denver and Kansas City. We know that. Now, I don't know if they're going to win those games, but they can compete. Thor, Raider Nation Drinking Club in Summerlin. My cruise buddy. Hey, Thor, I'm wearing the Raider Cruise shirt today. The fan cruise shirt.
You know what, JT? I'm wearing the Raider Cruise shirt today, too.
Yeah, good man. Good man.
Great minds think alike, sir. Hey, how about them Dubs last night? As a diehard Warrior fan for my whole life growing up, I'll take it. By hook or by crook, I'll take any way we can get that win last night. We needed it. But I'm ready to talk about the draft. I just need us to draft offense in the first round. I'm okay with Jeanty. I don't know if I'm super thrilled about a running back, but I would like the NFL, like the Raiders in general, to get back to pounding the ball and playing defense. So I believe in our defense right now. So I guess that makes the most sense to me in that aspect. But I'm good with offense. Wide receiver is just a little bit scary.
Yeah.
If we go that route, I'd probably rather trade back and grab a receiver later and get an additional pick or so, whatever we could get. But And
Yeah.
the offensive line's not necessarily going to do that for us, right? So, Jency makes the most sense. Hey, if Shador falls there and we take Shador, I'm also okay with that because he could be great for 15 years to come or something. We don't know. Everyone wants to put a lot on him. I don't. I want whoever we draft to be great. Let's go, Raiders.
Okay.
Whoever we get at 6 has to work out. Let's go.
Thanks, Thor. Yeah, whoever we get at 6 has to work out. That's an understatement. You think I'm going to go on the Raider flagship on video here on YouTube and say I don't want Shador? You really think I'm going to do that? I mean, there's a chance Shador is going to be a Raider if he's available at 6 because of Tom Brady. This is what Tom Brady is here for. One of the many things he's here for is to evaluate the quarterback. If Tom Brady walks in that room and says, I love that kid, he reminds me of me, he's great, go get him, we're going to get him. If that's what he thinks, I don't know what he thinks, nor do you. We don't know. It's not like the old days. I could get in the building a little bit, maybe find a crumb of information. This group is stealth. They're brand new. They're not telling anybody anything, which I love, and they're going to make the pick. If they move back just a little, great by me. I don't think they'll move up. Never know if they stay there. I think it's running back first. I think wide receiver is really important because the wide receiver drop off after the first round, there's a drop off. And then the offensive line, I like to go to other teams and get their offensive linemen. I like veteran offensive linemen. I always have. But, we got to get some youth here. But it's all about Geno. This is Geno City now, everybody. Put some respect on Geno Smith's name. This is his city. He is the quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders, Geno Smith. Everybody needs to get behind him. Even if you're not crazy about him. You don't think he's elite? Who cares? Put on a Raider shirt and a jersey and get behind Geno. He's our guy. We need him to play great, and he needs some help around him. The monologue brought to you by Modelo. Modelo, the official cerveza of the Raiders and the official beer of fans with the fighting spirit. My buddy Cambo, who's a roadie at the Fillmore, legendary guy, came here to work a few days. We're in the backyard last night, right in my backyard fridge, glistening, dripping wet Modelos. He said, are you kidding me? I go, of course I got a Modelo for you. Modelo, proud partner of our show, The Fighting Spirit. All right, I got 2 insiders today. Thank you, Bobby, for that. We have Joe DeLeon, who we had on here about a month ago. Joe's pretty good. He's a big NFL draft guy with every team nationally. And then at 1:30, Vinny Bonsignor in his scheduled appearance, as Vinny's here. Also, I want to congratulate Paul Gutierrez. I didn't see this as I was gone in Scottsdale for a few days as he was brought on by the Raiders in-house. He's going to be a columnist there. He's one of our insiders. I missed that. I congratulate him on that today. We think the world of Paul Gutierrez. What a great content provider he is. And then we're going to have a good weekend as the weather is heating up. The NBA playoffs are here. And we got Levi Edwards tomorrow. We just got a lot of people I'm trying to get in touch with here to get one more draft hit out of them as we open up the show. Hope everybody's doing well. Good to be back. I had a great time visiting my son in Scottsdale. So he's going to graduate, Bobby, May 12th and 13th. So we'll be out there for graduation at ASU. Mom and dad are coming out for that. We got the Raiders draft. We got AC/DC next week. Oh, my God. Thursday, round 1. Friday, second, third round. Saturday, AC/DC. Woo. You got a peek for that, huh? That was good, man. That was a long, nice 30 minutes. Hey, did everybody get to see my 30th anniversary show? If you got a chance or you didn't see that, it's up on YouTube in its entirety. If you get a chance to look at that or share it, I'd appreciate that. We got Vinny at 1:30, Bobby? Yep. Got Joe to a throw. We'll do him at 105.
Always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
All right. What did he do today? Okay. The stock market is down 891 points. Right. Another $1 trillion gone. Another $1 trillion gone from the stock market today.
False quick buck promises. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam and Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way, with integrity, experience, and authenticity. We're champions for the underdog. Life happens, and when you need help, you deserve a team without hidden agendas. A team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can.
All right, let's get in the chat.
You've been hurt in a crash.
Boston LA rematch in the finals. What do you say? No. No, I don't think that's going to happen at all.
Because you deserve what's right.
Space Beast loves Tet at 6, the receiver. Could happen, man. LeBald, Lames, Hater, Lakers will get exposed. The Lakers got Luka Doncic now, man. That adds a lot to this. Big D, crash the like button. Yes, please hit the like button. Michael Daniel says if Genty is there at 6, we have to take him. If we don't, I'll be shocked and we'll have to control my negativity. Yeah. I mean, people are going to be disappointed, man.
You're going to be disappointed with you. It's always going to be one thing.
No, I'm not at the facility on Wednesdays in the off season. In the off season, I'm not there. Off season, we take a little bit of break of going to the facility.
That's why I created Just One for One, because it only takes $1 per paycheck to make a difference. To a child, $1 can mean food, safety, and most of all, hope. Together, we can change the lives of the children that need it the most. Please visit justoneforone.org to make your donation today. That's justoneforone.org. Be the difference in a child's life today. Sponsored by Aaron Taylor, the Real Estate Guy. Aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30.
Yeah, we'll do Levi Edwards tomorrow.
Savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile brand. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers. T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power Charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for over $30.
My sister had successful knee surgery today, which is good. She was a super athlete growing up, big time swimmer, softball, basketball. So she got her knee done today, and I just was texting with her. My younger sister, born in 1970. I was born in 65, yes. Bobby, I'm trying to avoid looking at that AC/DC set list, but it's supposed to be damn good.
I've already seen it. It's good. I've seen it. It's good.
Yeah.
I've actually got a copy of the Minneapolis show already.
Bring your friends, have some fun.
Steph Curry.
Bet on black.
Okay.
Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show.
Go calls.
Brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka. Visit Tito'sVodka.com.
They're a great team. They're number 2 seed for a reason. They're young, athletic. They hard nosed. Jalen Green playing at a high level. Sengun, up and down the roster. So it's going to be a tough physical series. We just love the opportunity to be in the playoffs again and have an opportunity to strategize and figure it out on the fly. So I'm looking forward to the weekend. This is, no matter how it plays out, this is what you love.
Steph Curry bailed out the Warriors last night. We're used to that at times, but the Warriors weren't playing well in the fourth quarter. And Memphis had him on the ropes, and Steph got looks and buried threes. I mean, that's it. That's his legacy, the greatest shooter of all time and a very big clutch shooter. So we'll see what happens here. The New York Giants are making a lot of news because they have the 3rd pick overall. I think the draft starts at number 3 because I think number 1, it's going to be Cam Ward, the quarterback. He's going to go to Tennessee. And I would think at number 2, Cleveland would take Travis Hunter, But Travis Hunter made it clear that he wants to play both ways, and he's serious about it. So Travis Hunter, if he gets drafted by the Giants 3rd overall next week, he'll get his wish to play both. And General Manager Joe Shane said today, we would not be afraid to play him on both sides of the ball. So he said that at his pre-draft news conference. The Raiders will have theirs coming up with John Spytek and Pete Carroll, which we'll cover here on Raider Nation Radio. So the Giants look like they're just in the middle of some type of Dorothy Toto tornado, where they're just ripped up in a tornado and they don't know what they're doing. You want to talk about a team that is second guessing everything. The media in New York is much bigger than Las Vegas, much bigger than Oakland, Las Vegas combined. And the New York media is getting in the head of the Giants. The New York media is basically questioning the Giants every second of every show, every day. And the Giants have their head on a swivel going, let's get the jet and go back to Colorado and check out Shedeur again. Let's go make sure that we say nice things about Travis Hunter, because they know the owner, John Mara, will fire Joe Shane and the coach, Brian Daboll. And as I said this, I think if the Giants take Shedeur at 3, Dion will eventually be the head coach of the New York Giants, because Dion's ego is so big. That's the number 1 media market. Dion would go to New York, and that would be the greatest accomplishment of his life, other than being a Hall of Fame player, to coach in the number 1 media market. So you get a lot with these first couple of picks, everybody. You get a lot. Travis Hunter, you get a two-way player, right? If you get Shedeur, you get Dion eventually. You get Abdul Carter, you get you get Micah Parsons. He looks just like Micah Parsons, same school. You get Ashton Genty. You got a guy coming in here who is super elite. Now, I'm not going to put Ashton Genty into the category of Earl Campbell, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, but coming out of college, he was in that category. He was. In college, he was in that category, and that's why a lot of Raider fans are thinking about him. Just take him, and let's see what he's able to do. And that's where we stand here today. If you got a pick, I need it now, because we got shows, I got interviews. There's going to be times you're not going to be able to get in. I'm open this hour, 702-365-9200. When Derek Carr was let go by the Raiders, and I was just looking at what's happening with Derek Carr right now. Derek Carr is getting dragged in the media. He's getting dragged. I like Derek. I think I knew him well, not over to his house and breaking bread, but I know Derek, and I've interviewed him a number of times, and game days and traveling on the planes and being in other cities. I know Derek Carr, and it was going to be an awkward situation for me when he was gone, because I knew that fans and I would be critical of him. So yesterday, I tweeted out on X, Derek Carr is a man of faith and has never been accused of lying about an injury. The guy played his ass off in Oakland and Vegas. Say what you want about his skill set, but very hard to question his character. A few NFL insiders are questioning his ability to play and the timeline of the injury. I would side with Carr, knowing him and his passion to play and win. So that's got 41,000 views. And a lot of the comments are very negative. So I jump back into Twitter, Bobby, which isn't good to do. So I jump it into a frying pan. And I said, I'm giving my opinion on Derek because I know him. If you take personal shots at him and even question his faith and integrity, I'll block your ass into 2016. I got some real idiots that I'm looking to purge and never hear from again. And I mean that. If you're questioning Derek Carr's character, his integrity, and his faith, I had people say, well, what about his faith? Faith has nothing to do with it. Faith has everything to do with everything in life, more than football. He's a man of faith. There is not a track record of Derek Carr saying, I'm injured when he's not, or being injured and playing. The one thing we learned about Derek Carr, he was injured a lot and played through the injuries. So New Orleans is sitting here now questioning Derek because they never liked Derek. New Orleans never liked Derek Carr a lot because New Orleans loved Drew Brees. They loved Drew Brees. So Derek had a tough spot to go to because you're never going to live up to Drew Brees. But now that Derek Carr is injured and people are kind of like diving deep into this injury and what it could be, New Orleans got to get a quarterback. And someone told me, and we'll dive into this, well, Derek, the reason why the Raiders never went out and drafted a quarterback when we had Derek because Derek couldn't handle it. Derek didn't want another quarterback fighting for his job. All right, fair analysis and criticism. I wouldn't disagree with that. Derek didn't want to sit there and groom someone else. Well, that's where Derek is in his life now. Derek's making $40 million guaranteed if he doesn't play again. He's going to play again. He's a young guy. If he's played his last game in New Orleans, someone will pick him up. I mean, Joe Flacco is playing in this league. I mean, someone will pick up Derek Carr and give him a chance. But the best thing for Derek Carr would be, in my opinion, to come back from this injury, get the proper diagnosis, be ready to go. He's got plenty of time. And then if the Saints draft Shedeur Sanders at 9, Derek Carr can mentor him. I don't know if Derek would like that. I don't know if Derek would like to be going into the Dome in New Orleans and the fans booing and saying, we want Shedeur, because that will happen. That's the problem with taking Shedeur. If you don't play him and you sit him behind Geno Smith or Derek Carr or whoever it is, the fans are going to want to see Shedeur play sooner than later. But that's where Derek is in his career. Geno is not. Geno is a franchise quarterback now for the Raiders. Derek Carr is no longer that guy, and Derek Carr might lose that in New Orleans. So I hope Derek plays one more year in New Orleans, collects his $40 million, and then maybe Jackson Dart or Shedeur will be the backup for a while, and Derek will have an opportunity to mentor them. But remember, Brett Favre wanted nothing to do mentoring who? Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers did an okay job with Jordan Love because he learned from Brett Favre and how badly Brett Favre didn't want to mentor him. And then we mentioned yesterday, I think it's an important Raider topic, that Jalen Ramsey is available in a trade. There is video online from a couple of years ago where Jalen Ramsey said, quote, I begged my agent, begged him to send me to the Raiders. This was the Oakland Raiders before he went to the Rams. He desperately wanted to be a Raider. Jalen Ramsey would be one of the best players on this defense with Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, if he comes to the Raiders. $4 million has already been paid. I don't know if John Spytek and Pete Carroll want an aging cornerback. Is his best years behind him? Probably. But can he play at a high level still? Probably. Would he be an upgrade for the Raiders? Could the Raiders do that deal at $20 million a year? Yeah, I'm going to bring that up with Vinny Bonsignore on what availability the Raiders have when it comes to the cap and what they're able to do. But he's going to get traded, and he's a good player. And I was just in Miami last year. That was the road trip we went on with the Black Hole. And Jalen Ramsey was really good and was excellent in that game. And he's a good player. And he would be a really good Raider. Raiders have been okay at getting veteran corners or defensive backs late in their career. Charles Woodson on the return, coming back, and most famously, the great Rod Woodson, who's one of the greatest top 20 players to ever live. Very productive. Oh, and the Hall of Famer, Eric Allen. Eric Allen was on the back end of his career. Did you see EA's production? What Eric did at the end of his career in Oakland? He was great. Can Jalen Ramsey do what Eric Allen did? Yeah, he can. Eric Allen's going to the Hall of Fame. Guess who else is? Jalen Ramsey. He's going to the Hall of Fame at some point. I think it's a good comp. I don't know the price, though. I don't know what the Raiders want to do in regards to spending that type of money. Tito's Handmade Vodka. Had a few Tito's when I was out in Scottsdale. My go-to vodka. And it should be yours, too. Fun cocktail recipes, videos, and more. They got a great site, Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled by Fifth Generation Inc., Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly. Tito's, proud partner of our show. Yeah, I'm going to keep this to the top of the hour, then bail for a little bit. My son wants me to do a live stream one night this week.
Generational running back. Don't miss Unnecessary Roughness weekdays at 2 on Raider Nation Radio, 9:20 a.m.
All right. Ronnie Lott, Rod Woodson, yeah. Good one, Big D. Tequila.
If you're DIYing it, the expenses can start to add up. Paint, tools, lumber, and pizza for your helpers. If you need some extra cash to finish the job, try Goldie
So we got Miami and the Bulls playing game tonight. Miami and the Bulls.
The Golden Knights wrapping up tonight. Vancouver.
They're here?
Listen.
That's a long play. I went to Vancouver. That's a long road trip, man. That's a long road trip. And then they get ready for the playoffs and they open up against
Minnesota on
Right.
Sunday.
There's no Fleury doesn't play in any of those games.
Probably not. This is his last year. He's wrapping up. They might play him one Minnesota game or
Right.
something like that. But
At 6:35. Thursday is Ohana night and $2 beers. Game time again at 6:35. Friday is Princess night and enjoy
yeah, still the NBA playoffs start
Right.
the weekend.
Aviators baseball. Free parking, great food, and good times. Life's just better at Las Vegas Ballpark.
Well, technically playing.
Where'd you get that dead hat at the show?
Yeah, out of the shakedown.
How was the shakedown? You didn't tell me.
I thought it was great. I had a fine time.
Good.
They had the whole affair over at the
Tivoli, Tuscany. Was it indoor or outdoor?
Outdoor. It was all tents set up, couple food trucks, bands set up.
Did they let people partake?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was partaking right sitting on the damn stage. Yeah, they're coming back this weekend. The next show is tomorrow.
I'm not a player, but I host a lot of the alumni events. They gave me that, which is nice.
20% off online purchases, hotel discounts for home and away games, access to members, merchandise, and much more. All memberships are now lifetime memberships. Once a member, always a member. If you bleed silver and black.
Well, I appreciate everybody. I just 30 years of calling, making a phone call was not what I was planning. That was a big show. I still consider my anniversary Memorial Day, 1996. But Bobby, I might have retired with these anniversaries now because this one for 30 was pretty big. It was very humbling. So
Next May will be the 30th.
Freddie, we're on the YouTube and live on the radio in a minute, coming back from commercial.
Hey, did you know Timmy Brown is the director?
No, he's not. That was fake. Yeah, I think it, yeah. From what I heard, yes. No.
All work and no play makes for one boring ass week.
That's funny. I'll call you after the show.
Signature cocktails and
How cool is that? Getting a phone call from Fred Biletnikoff. Pretty cool.
So it's going to be Curry talking about the urgency to win the playing game.
Who's this? Curry?
Yeah. And got about 4 minutes.
Visit ptstaverns.com to find your favorite neighborhood tavern.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste, brewed with fighting spirit since 1925.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the DeCasta Verde Law Group. If you get
There we are.
injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
Had enough emotional roller coaster rides. The last two games, one didn't go our way, one did. So just a matter of sticking with it, trying to make plays down the stretch defensively, keying on certain guys. But like you said, playing is why it's here. It's why the league created it, because it's a lot of drama. And it's nice to know what it feels like to win one. We are 1-3 now.
Steph coming off the play-in win. The Warriors are a popular TV show. This is all about television. What are you going to put on TV? TNT, ABC, ESPN? Well, the league wants the Warriors. The league wants the Celtics. They want LeBron James and the Lakers. They want the Knicks. The Knicks are the number one media market. They want the Knicks more than Cleveland. The league does. And, no one cares about Orlando or what's going to happen. I don't know what to tell you there, but it's a TV show, and the league really cares about that. I was talking to Bobby and a friend of mine about maybe Marc-Andre Fleury playing against VGK in the playoffs. how interesting is this going to be as the Vegas Golden Knights are wrapping up the regular season? You know, I love this Golden Knight team. We talk about them often. I'll be out for the playoffs. I love where they are now with the postseason standings. There is no excuse, and there's never an excuse. Vegas has clinched the Pacific with 108 points. Kings are right behind them, and the Kings are a tough out. You know, McJesus and everything in Edmonton, we know how tough they are. You got Winnipeg with 114 points. Dallas, who's our rival, at 106. And then the Avalanche. Never want to see the Avalanche when they throw their goal scorers at you. But Minnesota, that will be the team that we got to see Vegas. Vegas has got to come out of the gates in the playoffs with an easy first round.
Yeah.
They've got to come out, and they just got to jump in and be really good. And, you know, the playoff matchups that are there, I'm not saying that they can't lose. I don't think they will to Minnesota. But they got to come in here and be ready to go. And they got to be fast and sharp and healthy. Goal scoring's got to be great. And the most important thing is they got to clear the puck out from under the net. They can't let teams and big bodies stay in front of the goal. They've got to be ready to play. They got to be physical, rested, everything right. I like the health of the team. I like the way they're playing. I like the early matchup for them in the playoffs. Let's hope they get it done. And remember my rule. You win a round, you get 2 more weeks. That means I can go to the beer house.
Yeah.
That means I could go with my friends and have them in my backyard brick, have Billy Cancun and the friends over and watch a game. And it's 90 degrees and some people are in the pool.
Yeah.
And we're serving them drinks and we're watching hockey. We want to watch hockey in June and all of May, but you got to win to advance. Thanks to the bricklayers on YouTube. Vinny Bonsignor, Joe De Leon next hour as we stay heavy on the upcoming NFL draft. Thank you, everybody. Good week today. Good numbers. Everything good. Good reels. Appreciate everybody being here. If you listen now, you listen on the app or wherever you listen. Q's coming up next hour. I'll do 2 hours maybe tomorrow on this, but a lot of YouTube over the last couple of days. We'll take a bit of a break. And thank you so much.